SWX nonstop local pre-game coverage of Brawl 2.0 is sponsored by Brett Harris Insurance Agency and Warriors Quiet Water.
Another brawl in the wild. Are you ready for the big show?
Since 1897, this rivalry of champions has tossed the trophy back and forth in unprecedented
Officially Brawl of the Wild times 2.
circumstances, families divided, emotions running high between the Cats and the Grizzlies. Our hero making history. We'll have to wait and see who will end up in Tennessee. Will it be the Cats or the Grizzlies?
Hey Montana, you ready for some football?
Now, here's the SWX nonstop local team.
That was Stephanie Quayle leading us off on a Friday evening on the eve of the 125th playing of the Brawl of the Wild. Kind of. Welcome to Brawl 2.0, everyone. It's one of the oldest rivalries in the West, dating back more than 100 years. It has been played in snow. We'll get to the snow in just a second. In the wind and in the moments that still get argued about decades later. So when we talk about history, we're not just talking about records or trophies. We are talking about a rivalry that has shaped football in the state of Montana for generations, and now it collides with a championship path. Welcome outside of Bobcat Stadium, Brick Breeden Fieldhouse, this side of a very, very snowy Gallatin Valley. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday evening. Get you ready for Cat Grizz 2.0. Ben Weinman alongside Sean Rainey, Dominic Delfidio. Describe this atmosphere, Sean. Like, what are we doing out here?
Yeah, I was told it's supposed to be like low 30s and bright sun tomorrow. That's not the case. We got all this. I'm going to throw this out there right now. This is unprompted. Gentlemen's bet. We're all going no beanies. First person, if they put a beanie on, they have to get pelted with a snowball on air. That's our gentleman's bet right now.
It probably will be me, honestly. Dominic Delfidio, the host of this weekend. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, growing up as a kid, right? Thank you, Sean. Growing up as a kid, right? This is what you wanted to play football in, right?
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, these are 18 to 22, 23-year-old kids, right? And I'm sure they're going to have a little bit flashback to the past.
Sure.
Obviously, they won't be playing in a game like this, but just the lead up to such a big, pivotal game. Can you ask for much more? I'm loving this. This has been the great week, and it's all going to come to fruition Saturday.
And before we share that matchup graphic for the folks in the back, we just want to say behind us here, you can see the lights. That is Bobcat Stadium. Not sure what's going on in there. Is Coach Houck maybe with his team right now getting ready to through a walkthrough, Sean? We don't know. But we're having a lot of fun here. And let's, of course, talk about that matchup. It is technically the 125th meeting between these two teams. We're going to talk about what that actually means from a rivalry perspective over the next half hour here on Nonstop Local. But a lot on the line. Kickoff tomorrow, 2 o'clock. You can watch the game on ABC Montana, and it's going to be broadcasted to a nationwide audience. Number 3, Montana. Number 2, Montana State. It is an FCS Semifinal playoff game. The winner moves on to Nashville, a chance to play for a national championship. The loser season will end tomorrow. Everything that's come before, the rankings, the records, the first meeting that happened about a month ago, we'll talk about that as well. It all funnels into this. Now, clearly, you see what the weather is going on right now. It's kind of a blizzard out here.
At least it wasn't as windy as it was this morning. Good grief.
And speaking of that, Dominic, talk about that. What was it like this morning for our morning show, Wake Up Nonstop Local?
It was awesome. It was a great time having Tommy and Marcus there joining us on set. But I'll tell you what, you were the man behind the scenes, being the star of the show, catching all the equipment, catching the TV, making sure our production looked as good as it did this morning.
And I gotta say, I was catching something else. Let's roll the video here because it was so windy this morning. We had gusts of 45 to 50 miles an hour. Folks, that is me pushing a porta potty away from those cars because the wind was picking up dumpsters, picking up porta potties, slamming them around into the parking lot. We wanted to make sure the Bobcat cheerleaders and their cars were going to be doing okay. They were so nice to join us this morning. But Sean Rainey, we saw like a mid-air collision.
I know. I felt really bad. Somebody started their day off by driving in front of the stadium, and all of a sudden, one of those giant industrial garbage cans T-bones the car. Can you imagine starting your day off at 5 in the morning like that? That was that was some crazy wind, but the wind has subsided. It is snowing, but hopefully this will pass by tomorrow's game.
And the person who is going to help us, Kyrie Leasing, joining us in a nice, warm, comfy studio, rocking her maroon, the University of Montana student and grad. Kyrie, how's it going? Please, you have some good news for us for tomorrow's ball game.
I mean, we'll see. Thanks, guys. I feel so bad for all y'all out in the cold, but I've got good news and bad news. For the rest of the state, we're seeing high wind warnings, especially in the Lewistown and a little bit of the Bozeman area. We're seeing these winds up to 20 to 40 miles per hour, and some of these gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Now, we've got a winter storm alert. They're definitely feeling that in Bozeman for sure with all that snow. But in these purple and pink pockets, we're seeing additional snow up to 3 inches. In some places, up to 2 to 5 to almost 6 inches of additional snow. Now, not only that, I wanted to kind of show this little pocket where we're seeing that road to the Brawl of the Wild 2.0. As we're seeing those highway conditions, a lot of these road conditions are very, very slippery. I just wanted to show, here's what Homestake Pass looks like right now. As you can see, we've got a lot of snow on the roads, taking it slow for sure, especially in these areas. Now, Livingston, a little bit less. We're actually seeing a lot of rain in this area, so it's still slippery, but it's not as much snow. Now, Rogers Pass is seeing pretty similar to Homestake Pass with all this snow and things like that. So something to be very, very careful about, especially when we get into the rest of the weather broadcast. Now, right now, temperatures are sitting at around 30 to 20. Lows are staying at around 20s to 10s tonight. And forecasted highs for tomorrow are looking at 30s and 40s. But I will have more details and Brawl of the Wild forecast after this.
Kyrie Leasing, appreciate it. Thank you very much. We've covered many Brawl of the Wilds here in the Gallatin Valley over the last couple years or so as nonstop local as we do. This one over the last couple of days being here feels different, Dom. It just feels like something is in the air.
It certainly does. And, just a month ago, you could feel the buzz around Brawl 1.0, right? Just around town. But this week, just with so much that's at stake, it almost kind of feels like a high school Friday night where your local team's about to play for that state title. Like, it has that type of electricity in the atmosphere. The fans it's that anxious kind of nervous, the excited kind of nervous where they really hope that Montana State can get it done, because if not, it's going to be a very long offseason, especially when it comes to the end in the semifinals at your in-state rival.
Yeah, to me it feels a little bit different in talking to some of the fans. I think there's more of an excitement when it's that Brawl 1.0, but I feel like just because it is going to be absolutely gut-wrenching and terrible for whatever team and whatever fan base loses this game with everything that's at stake. So you can, talking to a lot of these Cat fans and Grizz people around town too that I've seen, pretty nervous, pretty anxious, because it's going to be really tough for whoever loses this ball.
I gotta wipe off my my scripts here, folks, because as you can see on these helmets, they're going to be buried by the next 20 minutes. Speaking of that rivalry, of course, you're either in this state a Cat or a Grizz as we kind of approach this historic moment in the state of Montana together. Regardless of what happens tomorrow behind us on the field, we all recognize there's more important things to life than a football game. And really, really cool story tonight about a simple act of 2 sets of brothers on either one of these teams. One wears maroon and silver, one pair wears blue and gold. They actually came together to do something special to highlight the light that a special young woman still has to this day.
Live like D. It's been a rallying cry for the last 2 years for the community of Manhattan, Montana. For Mark Doherty, losing his daughter Delaney to a head-on car crash 2 years ago, it's been making something good out of something bad, keeping his daughter's light alive and helping put other Montana kiddos through college.
We give out scholarships to local high school kids. So kids in this area of Manhattan, Montana, and then we're expanding into my hometown of Butte this next year as well. So as we grow, we're trying to expand more and give out more scholarships. We've given out about $25,000 in the last 2 years, so we've been pretty blessed and fortunate to do that.
Last year, during the Bobcats' incredible run to the national title game, Tommy Malott heard about Delaney's story and donated a signed Bobcat jersey to be auctioned off for the foundation.
And that jersey, all by itself, created quite a bidding war and raised like over $5,000 for the foundation. So my thoughts went to people love their Cats players and their Grizz players. Who else is out there that maybe we could try to get a jersey?
Dawn Gilman, mother of Eli and Monty, immediately jumped in to help this year and get her 2 talented boys on board.
I was overwhelmed with emotion when you see a family that has to still get up in the morning and still do life without their light, their daughter that's here. And so it was very emotional as I get to see my kids have, find success on the football field, and they're still here and they can talk to me, and I was like, it's the least we could do to help support them and their legacy. They're paying it forward. It's beautiful.
But the generosity didn't stop there.
Caden Dowler, another interception for Dowler.
Because there was another set of brothers on the other side of the divide who wear blue and gold, and they wanted to join in. Mark's best friend, Foundation board member, and Cat fan Nick Newgard jumped in to help. And through the Bobcat Collective, the Billings boys, Taco and Caden Dowler, also signed jerseys and donated them for Delaney's foundation, showing that sometimes, through this Cat-Grizz rivalry, we are all Montanans, helping Montanans.
And I've just seen a lot of comments and heard from a lot of people who are admittedly self-aware that they get a little bit too much about the football in a week like this too. And how much good can come from when two people get aligned or two groups get aligned for something bigger than football.
Young men doing amazing things on and off the field that help shed kind of our foundation's mission. We always say Delaney shed such a light, spread such a joy and a light to people. This allows her light to kind of shine on, which is really good for my heart too. So.
Pretty special right there. And if you'd like to donate to the Delaney Doherty Foundation, or if you want to bid or go on auction for those jerseys, you can find that information up on our website, nonstoplocal.com. Okay. We are, of course, in Brawl 2.0. That means a 1.0 happened. It happened like a month ago. Sean Rainey, we'll start with you. How did the Grizz take a peek back at 1.0 to prepare for 2.0?
Yeah, a couple things. One, Michael Wortham, All-American, only had one catch for 3 yards. So that has to change. He's got to get the ball in number 6's hands. He's got to do a couple touchdown dances in Bobcat Stadium if Montana wants to come away with a victory. And then I think on defense, let the guys on the island on the corner, and you got to bring in those safeties, stop the run. You cannot let Justin Lamson run, especially in passing downs. He had over 80 yards rushing. Can't be that much.
Yeah, and, kind of snowballing off that, no pun intended here, but Montana State needs to rely on their offensive line. I mean, that's been their bread and butter all season long. They come in with the 4th-ranked rush offense in the country in the FCS, so controlling time of possession, keeping that Montana offense on the sideline, and relying on that offensive line, getting Jones and Davis going, I think will be key.
God, we're going to talk a lot more about that over the next couple hours here on Nonstop Local and into the morning on our pregame show and postgame shows. But now we're going to send things back into the studio because Adam Rodriguez is going to break down how these two teams actually met. Adam, when the bracket came out, I think everyone across the state of Montana was circling what is about to happen tomorrow, hoping and praying we might get Cat Grizz 2.0, and that's kind of what happened here in Montana.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Hope Bozeman's treating you well, but man, it has been one heck of a journey for both of these Montana schools. And when you look at the bracket, you start to appreciate just how much work it took to get here. Now, let's start with Montana State, the number 2 overall seed in the FCS playoffs. And MSU's first game was against Yale, where the Cats came out on top 21-13 in the second round. It was a gritty game where the Bobcats, they leaned on the defense, forcing 4 turnovers with the offense struggling. Then in the quarterfinals, the Bobcats, they took care of business with a 44-28 win over number 7, Stephen F. Austin. It was a complete performance. Montana State racked up 473 total yards and controlled the clock throughout. Now, we'll flip it over to Montana, the number 3 seed in the FCS playoffs. Both schools, they received a bye, so in the second round, the Grizzlies had their first matchup where they dominated and got revenge on South Dakota State 50-29, putting up explosive offense and forcing South Dakota State into numerous mistakes. Then in the quarterfinals, UM advanced with a 52-22 victory over number 11 South Dakota at Washington Grizzly Stadium with big plays on both sides of the ball. 2 different roads, the Bobcats grinding through a Yale team and then outslugging Stephen F. Austin. And the Grizzlies lighting up the scoreboard at home. And now for the first time in FCS history, these two Montana rivals meet in the national semifinals. Winner will be heading to Nashville to take on the winner of Illinois State and Villanova. 2 Big Sky programs, 2 paths, 1 chance to play for it all. Guys, back to you.
Adam Rodriguez, appreciate that breakdown. It feels like it was yesterday. It also feels like a month ago that these two teams played in Missoula. And Adam, you spoke about Nashville there. Sean Rainey, how are your cowboy boots? Are you ready to actually try on cowboy boots in Nashville, Tennessee this time?
We'll see. I'd never worn a pair of cowboy boots. I don't know how they would fit.
What?
No, never worn a pair of cowboy boots. But hey,
that is going to change.
What is on the line is a trip to Nashville, which I've never been there yet either. Heard it's awesome. We're going either way. Are we covering Montana or Montana State? And it is a very awesome experience for both of the fan bases to go to a national championship game. And not only is the winner going to go, but it's a heated rival. It's not only are you not going, but your rival is, which makes it even worse. So Nashville, a trip. Championship on the line.
And what makes it even worse, Sean, whoever wins this game, that rival, is most likely going to be favored in whoever they play in that national championship game. Not discrediting Villanova or Illinois State. They've had tremendous seasons, tremendous run to this point. But Montana State, no matter who makes it, I think they're going to be favored and have a really legitimate chance to bring home that national championship.
First time for either school, 2001, 1984. The last time, 2001 Montana, 84 for the Cats. We're having a lot of fun here outside of the Brick Breeden Fieldhouse to see Bobcat Stadium all lit up behind us. We're having fun. Kathleen Dozier, let's send it back into the studio. Are you having fun on this Brawl of the Wild Eve?